Hi friends, welcome to my free demo session on florals. Today we are going to paint hydrangea and the colors used are lavender, lilac, bright rose, crimson red, ultramarine blue, bright violet from Mission Golds. Come, let's paint. So first wet the surface and apply the first layer of lilac and lavender, concentrating more on bottom of the flower because the bottom of the flower has shadows, so you should concentrate more on bottom of the flower. So this flower has a spherical shape, so you should consider this as a spear and put the first layer, leaving the top layer lighter, assuming that the light is coming from that side where the lighter areas are there. So slowly add the details for the petal by the brush strokes, which looks similar to how we put a small bird in a scenery. So this particular stroke will give the corner of the flowers, and don't be very conscious that you are going to put a full flower in one area. Just go with the flow and your hand should move randomly because the strokes are very important for the florals. So here I am using a bright rose and bright violet for the first medium tone, and for the lighter tone I am using a watery paint of same color of bright rose and bright violet combination. Just repeat the strokes here and there, and here whatever the colors I used, it is not necessary that you have to use the same color. You can use your own color, but make sure that you are creating your depth in the flower by adding darker, medium and light tones. So slowly build up the depth for the flower. Still I am using bright violet and bright rose only. There should be very minimum details on the lighter side because as the light falls, we have less definition there. Don't try to put the outline for the flower. Just concentrate only on the strokes, and the strokes should be blended each and every time you put the strokes. It should not kept as it is because it gives a strong line. If you see, I'm blending then and there with the brush. As soon as I see few petals are getting formed, I am concentrating more on the depth of the flower. So for the depth I am adding a little of crimson red to the bright violet and bright rose combination. sure your paint is not too thick. It should be the same consistency as you have applied in the first layer. So if the layers are getting built up, your colors will be darker. And now I've added ultramarine blue to bright rose and bright violet to give more variety for the colors in the color scheme, and to also add the depth. So the petals which you are seeing on the flower is with the first layer lavender and lilac. The depth which you are seeing is built up with bright rose, ultramarine blue, bright violet and crimson red. Varying the combination here and there, you have to build up the depth. And if you are observing, I am just concentrating only on the bottom of the flower, because I have already added the details on the top part. That much details are enough. And few reflected lights will be there, so I have left few places white, as we don't use white for in watercolors. I just left the paper white to give the reflected light on the darker areas. So some flowers are already formed, so I am giving the pollen part for the flowers, so as to confirm that our flowers are giving the details. So now you have to paint with the negative painting concept. To pull out the extreme edges of the flower. So the shape of the flower will be revealed when you are putting the darker layer of the paint. So here I am using ultramarine blue, bright rose, the darker combination of what we have in our palette. Anything you can use just to pull out the shape of the flower. We have to use some darker colors. Here I am using crimson red as darker color and little of Penny's grey also, and sap green for the leaves, as the background is with the same the same hydrangea flowers. So I am using the same combination for the background and creating a very blurred definition for the petals. So it looks like as though there is some flower but of less focused. So our main focus is on this flower which I created at the first. It's a very simple painting with very minimum details which I have added. And I'm also making a background flower not concentrate more on the details on the petals. Just make the same strokes here and there with a lighter color. Now to pull out the flowers which you have given on the sides, I am adding some more background layers with sap green and blue. Again, don't forget to give the depth for each and every flower, though it is having a minimum definition. You have to give a light and dark areas. Otherwise, that flower is going to look flat. It doesn't give a 3D look. And I'm slowly pulling out the leaves by adding darker areas. So here I am using crimson red and ultramarine blue and little of Payne's grey, again to give the depth for the flower and depth for the leaves. So this is the shadow formation which I am making with sap green and little of Payne's grey. Hope you all enjoyed the making of hydrangea with minimal strokes. I'll come up with a new session very soon. Happy painting and thanks for watching.